Coming to you live from Tressel Field inside the George Finnie Stadium on the campus of the Baldwin Wallace University. It's time for Baldwin Wallace University women's soccer action. This evening, BW hosts Wilmington College in this Ohio Athletic Conference Tournament quarterfinal game. Thanks for joining us this evening. I am Dario Bathley, and I'm joined this evening by Dre Showers.
Good evening, everybody.
And we have a good broadcast on slate for you this evening. The Yellow Jackets entered tonight's game with a record of 10-5-5 overall after being defeated by the OAC regular season champion Capital University 1-0 on Friday evening. The Fighting Quakers come into the match with a record of 10-7-1 overall after a 1-0 victory against Heidelberg University on Saturday evening. The last time these two teams met, the game ended in a scoreless draw after 110 minutes of soccer. BW is led by 13th season head coach Reed Ayers, who is ably assisted by Jim Watkin, Louis Rocco, and Chris Kraft, along with student coach Miranda Bennett. Wilmington is led by Steve Spurk, who is assisted by Bob Desiker and Jacob Morrison. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will have the starting lineups. You're listening to BW Women's Soccer on BWYellowJackets.com. Welcome back to BW Women's Soccer on BWYellowJackets.com. I am Dario Bathley alongside Dre Showers. Let's take a look at our starting lineups here this evening. First was the visiting Fighting Quakers. In goal, number 1, Brittany Ross. On the field, number 2, Morgan Combs. Number 3, Hannah Greeny. Number 5, Ashley Levette. Number 6, Stephanie Max. Number 9, Elena Londrigan. Number 11, Taylor Scott. Number 16, Erica Good. Number 23, Melanie Hall. Number 25, Taylor Leak. And number 27, Ashley Stockton.
And here are the starters for your Yellow Jackets. Number 1, Emily Talmadge. Number 2, Lauren Heyman. Number 8, Courtney Schutz. Number 11, Rachel Bender. Number 14, Kelly Go. Number 15, Alex Elliott. Number 18, Cheryl Bell. Number 19, Anna Poptic. Number 21, Corey Miller. Number 22, Caddy Tucker. And number 23, Kristen Lee. The head coach is Reed Ayers in his 13th season, and he is assisted by Jim Watkin, Louis Rokel, and Chris Kraft, and student head coach Miranda Bennett.
Yeah, and we should have a exciting game on display here this evening at Tressel Field within the George Finnie Stadium. Both teams, the quarterfinals of the OAC tournament, and an opportunity to face the number one team. A rematch that I think Baldwin Wallace will be eager to get. The number one team being Capital. The winner of this match will face them later on this week. As they're now announcing the starting team for the home team, the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets, we're just going to take a short break until time for kickoff here to accommodate the playing of the national anthem. Welcome back here at Tressel Field. We're primed now for kickoff with the ball at the feet of the strikers for the Wilmington Quakers, Fighting Quakers. Baldwin Wallace, however, quickly gains possession. And Dre, any players in particular for the Fighting Quakers that you think Baldwin Wallace will need to keep their eyes on this evening as they attempt to win this, their quarterfinal game of the OAC tournament?
Yes, indeed. Who easily sticks out is Taylor Scott, the junior forward. This year she has 6 goals, 5 assists, leading in both categories for her team, and 17 points that she has been a part of. So that is a big thing, or a big player rather, that BW should watch out for tonight. And Erica Good has played well, the senior, also with 5 goals on the season, only 1 assist. But again, if you're not talking about Taylor Scott, then Erica Good is another player to look out for this Wilmington Quakers team. And Dario, what do you think as far as our women are concerned?
I think the Yellow Jackets tonight would benefit from an attacking approach. I think they should look to come out early and get a goal or two in the first half of this encounter. I think that'll set them up really well to put in that strong defensive shift in the second half. I think BW has sometimes suffered from an over-reliance on their defense. Even when they're on top of games, they tend to commit a lot of people forward and leaving their defenders stranded. And although they are able to deal with it, and it's a goal here for BW. Early on, it's a goal here for BW coming off of the head of Kelly Go. Set piece by Courtney Schutz. And Schutz goes on to pick up her 7th assist of the season. That is a team leading 7th assist of the season. Early on here in this encounter, as I'm just mentioning that they need to get some goals. So with 2 minutes having elapsed in the quarterfinal encounter of the Ohio Athletic Conference, your Baldwin Wallace University Yellow Jackets are up 1-0 against the Wilmington College Fighting Quakers.
And Courtney Schutz there, not a traditional forward if you think about it, but what she does really well is set up her team with opportunities like that one right there that looked pretty much routine for her as she hooked it in and got the easy goal off the head of Go. So
yeah, definitely. Courtney Schutz has become somewhat renowned for her assists, leading the team in assists last season, her freshman year, and doing much of the same this year, getting her team leading 7th assist there on a very important goal by Kelly Go, first goal of the OAC quarterfinals.
and with that goal, you wonder what the approach is on defense now.
Well, as I was saying before that goal, I think that the Yellow Jackets should try to get 2 goals, or as many goals as they can actually in this first half, but 2 is good security in my eyes. And then in the second half, they can exert that defensive energy that we know that they have become known for this season. So I think with 1 goal on the board, just 4 minutes or so into the game, I think BW should look to get another. And if they are going to get another, we know that it's going to be that one of the usual suspects are probably going to play a part. When I say usual suspects, that does include Courtney Schutz, who just got her 7th assist of the season. But most notably, that includes Rachel Bender, the freshman, who is on 11 goals and 3 assists for the season. I think she'll definitely be looking to add to that tally tonight, getting her first collegiate goals in tournament play.
And correction, they're going to give that goal to Cheryl Bell. So they're saying it went off the head of Cheryl Bell. So not Kelly Go. Just for you guys that aren't here.
Yeah, it looked like Kelly Go to me, but The official statistics say Cheryl Bell at the moment. That may be changed at a later date, at a later time during this encounter. But
Nevertheless,
we're going with it for now. Nevertheless, BW, the the Yellow Jackets are up 1-0 against the Wilmington College Fighting Quakers in the quarterfinal encounter of the Ohio Athletic Conference.
and you got to think this team is a bit more relaxed too going up this early in the game because our Yellow Jackets team not really accustomed to going up early like this. So, like I said before, it's going to be interesting to see their approach going forward. And I do agree with you in the fact that, hey, get as many goals as possible. If you can get one that early, I mean, more certainly not out of the realm of possibility in this half with well over 39 minutes to go.
Yeah, Dre, and not only that, I think this Yellow Jackets team is a fairly young team, having a lot of sophomores and freshmen in it, especially in this starting lineup. So I think they will benefit from this goal in another way. I think that it will do a lot to ease their nerves, just as something as simple as showing them that they can score in tournament play. So I think that first goal will do a lot to settle down this Baldwin Wallace team and help them to play much of the very good soccer that we've seen them play throughout the season and hopefully get a win here tonight. Good defensive work there by Caddy Tucker, just ushering the ball out of bounds. And it's been a very physical but not very exciting affair so far, with both teams just turning over possession on numerous occasions to one another.
And if you're the Yellow Jackets here, that's just fine. As long as they maintain that lead, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think for now, being early on in the game and being up 1-0, both the teams may still just be in that feeling out phase, just getting a feel of how each other plan to come into this contest. So, yeah, I don't think any problems necessarily from the Yellow Jackets end, and they their defense hasn't really been under any significant pressure if you really think about it. A cross in now from Rachel Bender leads to a corner for the Yellow Jackets to be taken by Courtney Schutz.
I remember last time when they matched up here at Tressel Field, it was a 0-0 affair, both tying, and that's what the Yellow Jackets have done a lot this year. But this has to have a much different feel now, especially for the Wilmington Quakers, given the fact that the last game had no scores at all.
Yeah, I think the difference between this game and all the games really before this for the Yellow Jackets will be that there is no security in a draw. If this game ends 0-0 after 110 minutes of soccer, there will be penalty kicks. So I think that's an important facet to the game, and it will see a slight change in the mentality of the team, whether it be due to coaching changes or just due to personal player changes. I think we'll see the game played at a different pace. Both teams intending to win because it's really win or go home in the OAC tournament. Attempted pass through by the Fighting Quakers, just nullified by the Baldwin Wallace defense,
And
as Kelly Go is eventually able to clear.
that wasn't a bad attempt at all. It did get to her person, but however, again, we've been talking highly about the Yellow Jackets defense all summer, or all summer. Excuse me. It feels like a summer day today. I want it to be summer. I wish, but anyway, what I was trying to say was all season, and yeah, I think it's a strong suit for this team. It's going to be very tough for the Wilmington Quakers to get on the board at all this evening.
Yeah, I think this center back pairing in particular, in Caddy Tucker and Kelly Go, have just been a solid rock behind there for the Yellow Jackets. And but as I mentioned earlier, they won't want to be overly dependent on them, as they'll want to get some goals on the board in order to make their life a little bit easier in the second half of this encounter. Attempted to pass by Anna Poptic for Rachel Bender, but even with Bender's speed, she was unable to get to that one.
And we certainly know she has a lot of speed, so.
Some more great defensive work there by Caddy Tucker, but seems like she's left a Wilmington player on the floor. That player being Wilmington number 6, Stephanie Max, the freshman.
Yeah, and she's not looking good. Hobbling when she got on her feet, and now she's back down once again.
And we have a goal by Courtney Schutz. Courtney Schutz, while that is going on at one end of the field, Courtney Schutz scores a left booter from outside of the box. And Courtney Schutz getting the assist on the first goal is now up to 4 goals and 7 assists on the season as the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets go up 2-0. Maybe a bit of a complaint on the players. Some of the Wilmington Fighting Quakers might have thought that the referee should have stopped the game to help the player up that was injured maybe, but he did not do so, and he has a right to do so. And Baldwin Wallace now lead this game 2-0 with just about 14 minutes having elapsed in this encounter thus far.
And how about Courtney Schutz? What a start she's off to. And I think she must have heard me when she said, I said, rather, that she wasn't that traditional forward, but does set her players up. She set herself up for that one, and what a goal that was.
Yeah, beautiful goal coming from Courtney Schutz, a left-footed strike into the top corner of the right-hand side of the Fighting Quakers custodian Brittany Ross's goal. And the freshman, Brittany Ross, might have feel that she's had a tough time here in her first postseason OAC encounter, having had 2 goals scored on her in 14 minutes. But I mean, it comes down to some brilliant play by Shoots, both in getting that assist and also in registering that goal.
Absolutely. So now with 30 minutes essentially left in this first half, you got to wonder now what they do. I mean, of course, put up more goals if you can, but they got to be feeling really comfortable out there is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely. And I think BW will continue to hold a high line for the majority of this game, or definitely of this first half, before going into that defensive shell when they're sure that 2 goals are enough. So, interesting to see how Wilmington reacts as we see a substitution being made here with their number 9 Elena Lundrigan leaving the field and being replaced by number 8 Alyssa Rule. Oh, wow, and number 6 there, Stephanie Max for Wilmington, getting a little bit pushy with Lauren Haynham, as Haynham seemed to just muscle her off the ball.
And you got to think for the Wilmington Quakers getting off to the start that they have gotten off to that they're a bit frustrated.
Another set piece here by Courtney Schutz as she serves it in. A good ball, tough for the Fighting Quakers to deal with, but one that they eventually do in the end. And the foul on Caddy Tucker gives Courtney Schutz another opportunity to serve a ball into the box from a similar position from which she served the one that resulted in that goal. It's an equally as good ball, but goalkeeper Brittany Ross is fouled on the play. Some more aggressive play as Anna Poptic fouls the number 23, Melanie Hall of the Fighting Quakers. Free kick now for the Fighting Quakers. Dealt with comprehensively by Kelly Go. Lauren Haynham just doing enough to put off Stephanie Max as Max attempted to get a cross into the box.
you could see the confidence too radiating off this Yellow Jackets team. Very relaxed out there, especially at this point too. But yeah, I mean, I think after those two early goals that you see a little bit more hustle, a little bit more intensity, and winning is contagious. That is for sure.
Yeah, and after scoring 2 goals in 14 minutes, I think the Yellow Jackets have um, have grown in confidence and just feel like if they're on top of this game. And I think we'll use the confidence boost and opportunity to go out and try to get some more goals even before halftime. So interesting to see how this game goes with about 24 minutes left. If you're just in the first half, I'm sorry. If you're just joining us, it's your Baldwin Wallace University Yellow Jackets 2 and the Wilmington College Fighting Quakers 0 in the quarterfinal encounter of the OAC tournament in women's soccer. Defensive error by Caddy Tucker almost leads to a Fighting Quakers goal, but was not meant to be in the end as Courtney Schutz now puts through Rachel Bender, who will look to serve a cross in here. Alex Elliott in the middle, but the cross is deflected outside for a corner kick.
Baldwin Wallace not letting off the gas pedal, setting up every opportunity they can.
Not at all. They're very committed to attack here. 22 minutes having gone now in these early goings.
Oh, wow.
Courtney Schutz corner results in a half chance for Caddy Tucker, which she attempts to head to the near post, but it just goes wide of the goal. And 2 changes now for this Baldwin Wallace team as Cassandra Wakeman enters the game to replace Kristen Lee, and Kelsey Nemeth, enters the game to replace Cheryl Bell. Ooh, and what looked like a good ball there from Alyssa Real, picked up by the BW custodian Emily Talmadge quite easily as she had good positioning on the play.
She sure did, and she's a very aggressive goalie, so she's going to come out and get that right away, not even give the Wilmington Quakers a chance to even think about scoring, quite honestly. And that's what you got to love about this Yellow Jackets team, up 2-0 in this one with 21 minutes to go, that they're certainly not letting up. They know that this game is very important. They got, this is where you got to really bring your all, and they have certainly done that thus far.
Yeah, definitely. This team playing wonderfully thus far. As an attempted cross by Lauren Hainham goes just wide of Brittany Ross's goal.
And even that one could have found its way into the back of the net had it been just a little bit more to the right. And you got to wonder if the confidence of the Wilmington Quaker goalkeeper is a little bit shaken.
It would definitely appear that way. Having let up 2 goals in your first 14 minutes of OAC postseason play is not a positive sign. And she definitely knows that, as I think she's just attempting to build back her confidence here within the last 20 minutes of the first half.
And she's only a freshman too, and this goalkeeping committee for the Quakers is very young. With her being a freshman, Hannah Edge being a freshman, and Anna Holzer being a sophomore, they don't have much experience in there. So this is you got to think something that's experimental as well.
BW on the attack here once again through Anapoptic. Cross by Rachel Bender results in a throw-in for the Yellow Jackets deep in the Quakers' half.
Must
To
have
be-
deflected off of somebody. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think it deflected off the right back, and now Courtney shoots an opportunity to throw the ball into the box. Poptic gets a touch, but it goes out for a goal kick. And I'd like to give a shout out to the Baldwin Wallace men's soccer team who completed their season this Saturday with a game at Capitol. Special shout out to Craig Wallace, who ended the season as joint leading scorer for the team with 4 goals. And hopefully he'll get some more next season, and we'll see some postseason play from that team.
And I think they certainly will. That's also a very young team that, has a lot of growing to do and have grown together this past season. So you got to think they're going to come out hungry next season to get some more wins and have that experience behind them will definitely help in doing so.
Corner now for the Fighting Quakers. Emily Talmadge goes up and loses the ball, but is deemed to have been fouled by Ashley Lovett, the freshman from Washington.
The Fighting Quakers are getting aggressive in there. They're going to take every opportunity they can get, of course. And when they saw that ball drop from her hands, they were quick to get on it, but just maybe a little too eager.
Yeah, and I mean, with 17 minutes or so left in the first half of this encounter, it's already became somewhat of a desperation situation for the Fighting Quakers, as they somehow have to find 2 goals at least if they want to have any chance of staying in the OAC tournament past this game here tonight.
And if you're a Fighting Quakers fan, you certainly hope to see that. But it's going to be awfully difficult with how it started so far. But still plenty of time to go, of course.
Yeah, definitely be difficult against this Baldwin Wallace University team who has only given up 2 goals on 2 occasions this season. So, definitely not something that you'd expect to see as this defense leak 2 goals at any point during a game. But I mean, nothing's impossible, especially in tournament play where teams tend to bring their A game when necessary. So, interested to see how the rest of this game goes.
And another thing too, we haven't seen a lot of Taylor Scott, number 11, the forward for the Fighting Quakers, as I mentioned before, maybe pacing herself or whatever the case may be. Just hasn't been the factor that she's been for her team all season long in this one. But you got to think when that's going to come out because she's an awfully good player and someone who definitely needs to make an impact.
And I think as we saw there on the attempted cross from Ashley Lovett, trying to find Scott in the middle, that's been a trade of tonight. The Baldwin Wallace team has cut out that supply line to Scott. So definitely something they'll want to continue as we get deeper into this encounter. And if you're just joining us here at Tressel Field within the George Finnie Stadium on the campus of the Baldwin Wallace University, it is your Baldwin Wallace University Yellow Jackets 2 and the Fighting Quakers of Wilmington College 0, with just about 14 minutes left in the first half of this encounter. Kelly Go with the goal kick. Is BW ready? Two more substitutions I'm seeing on the sideline. One of those being Joy Trillett, who is already up on the sideline, seemingly already given her instructions. And the other being Marissa Fabrizi, who seems to be joined by two other BW players who may be entering the field of play. So interesting to see what 13th season head coach Reed Ayers does here, as I think he could just take this opportunity to rest some players for second half action. And if you look even further into the future, maybe get them some rest for this tournament run that they will be possibly having this week.
And you got to think that's what it is, seeing the bigger picture and knowing right now, although the game is certainly not over or out of reach, that it's pretty likely that the Yellow Jackets, if they do maintain this play, will win this game. So definitely important to keep that in mind and keep legs as fresh as possible for the postseason.
Definitely. Kelly Go falling under some pressure from freshman Ashley Lovett, but eventually recovers and puts the ball out. And now it's a corner kick to the Fighting Quakers.
And Kelly Go and Caddy Tucker got a little bit mixed up there, seemingly kicking the ball off one another.
Yeah, Kelly Go, I think, just attempting to clear her lines, get the ball away from the general area of her goal and hitting Caddy Tucker. And BW are able to deal with the corner.
The fans eager for their Yellow Jackets team to get the possession. I think they're already they have been spoiled quite a bit here early on, wanting to see more goals, and I even heard a go full throttle out there. So they're
As
fans showing no mercy.
Joy Trillett now enters the field of play, replacing Courtney Schutz, who's already had a goal and an assist on the night, and will definitely be looking to add to that in the second half. Marissa Fabrizi now enters the field of play, replacing Anna Poptic, who I think will take a rest until the second half. And an
Wow.
error in the Fighting Quakers defense. Um, that error made by number 16, Erica Good, the senior, just heading the ball back to her goalkeeper, but her goalkeeper coming forward in an attempt to gain possession at the edge of the box herself. And it falls to Marissa Fabrizi, who scores her first goal on the season. And she will be happy to get that goal here in OAC tournament play. And the Baldwin Wallace are cruising now, 3-0 up with just about 9 minutes left in the first half of this encounter at Tressel Field. 3-0 up against the Fighting Quakers, and a very comfortable 3-0, as we almost get the feeling that they have not unleashed their full potential here in the first half. So interesting to see how the rest of this half goes, and additionally the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Now, being down 3-0, they have to be very anxious at this point. Great patience by Fabrizi there to capitalize on the mistake. She set herself up nicely to tap that one in. But more so, we talked about earlier how Erica Good, aside from Taylor Scott, has been the shining star for this Fighting Quakers team, playing very well and even very well as of late. So for her to make that mistake is crucial and something you don't see often from her. It's just been one of those games that everything's been going right for the Yellow Jackets, and then vice versa, everything's just been going wrong for the Wilmington Fighting Quakers.
Yeah, I agree with that. Erica Good, being a senior and the captain of this team, will definitely be disappointed with that. But I mean, at this point in time, she just has to encourage her troops to go all out in an effort to get at least 3 goals here. Baldwin Wallace looking to make another substitution as Natasha Uzacheski readies herself on the sidelines. Ooh. And the cross from Trillett ends up at the feet of Alex Elliott, just at a slightly awkward height. And Elliott shoots over as she is now replaced by Natasha Ustachowski.
Wouldn't that have been something? She scored that goal and then got replaced shortly after.
Yeah.
Certainly wanted that, but I mean, it doesn't really hurt them right now in this case, given the fact they're up 3-0, and they can afford a couple of misses, but certainly want to take advantage of those opportunities when they're so clear.
Yeah, and I think another great thing about this half for Baldwin Wallace is that they were able to get some of their players that usually play less minutes onto the field earlier, which will build their confidence, especially this being tournament play now, it will build their confidence and help them to push forward in this tournament and come up big in the games where they're needed for closer results. Another change here for Baldwin Wallace as Marissa Fabrizi now exits the field, and we see the entrance of Grace Bates. Actually, I'm sorry, Gracie Baker entering the field of play.
I don't know about you, though. This half is flown by.
Yeah, they said time flies when you're having fun. And the Yellow Jackets definitely been having fun in this first half, going up 3-0 here in their quarterfinal game against the Wilmington College Fighting Quakers. Just about 2 minutes left now in the first half, and the Yellow Jackets just take an opportunity to exert a bit more energy out of these substitutes that they have on the pitch.
And you got to think you're going to see a lot of them come out and play the second half as well, with the deficit that they hold.
Yeah, with my one thing I observed is that other than the defense, all of the Baldwin Wallace players that are currently on the pitch are substitutes. Or the defense and the goalkeeper, obviously. So five substitutions made by Coach Readers, 6 substitutions actually, as Marissa Fabrizi entered and exited the pitch within this first half. So, as I said, some experience for these players, and majority of them being freshmen, it'll be invaluable experience in probably the later games in this tournament.
And that's another good way to look at it too. And this is why you got to have games like this for so much of the season. It's been so close for the Yellow Jackets. They've tied in many affairs, but it has to feel good, at least for now, to be playing a game and playing at this high of a level in what is right now the most important game of the season, it being the first postseason game.
Yeah, and coming with this level of intensity and this level of play for the first game of the postseason is definitely a good sign because the Capital being the last team that they played in the regular season, I didn't think that the gap in terms of quality was that big at all, if even there. So I think they will look at the probable game at Capital on Wednesday as an opportunity to face that team and now beat them. And that's the halftime whistle here at Tressel Field within the George Finnie Stadium on the campus of the Baldwin Wallace University. And it is your Baldwin Wallace University Yellow Jackets 3 and the Fighting Quakers of Wilmington College 0. We'll be back with you here shortly on bwyellowjackets.com with some first half statistics and a preview of what you could expect in the second half. And we're back on the way here at Tressel Field within the George Finnie Stadium on the campus of the Baldwin Wallace University. And in this, the quarterfinal matchup of the OAC tournament, your Baldwin Wallace University Yellow Jackets lead the Fighting Quakers of Wilmington College by a scoreline of 3 goals to 0. And we're in possession of the first half statistics of this evening's game. Dre Showers, anything that particularly stands out to you in terms of those statistics?
Yeah, what stands out is this game has been relatively even despite the score being 3-0 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. However, shots were, slightly favored to Baldwin Wallace with 5 opposed to Wilmington's 4 in that first period. And corner kicks, actually, Wilmington were favored in that regard with 3 opportunities opposed to Baldwin Wallace's 2. But again, the goals by Kelly Go, who we finally have gotten the right person for that first one to credit. Courtney shoots unassisted, and Marissa Fabrizi, capitalizing off the mistake of Wilmington, is the reason why your Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets lead this one over the Wilmington Fighting Quakers 3-0. So very interesting in every other regard, because had you not seen the score, you would think this one be tied or something of that nature, a lot closer than it is. So that's what stands out, Dario.
Yeah, and as we see in the second half encounter, both teams still trying to establish themselves here. But Baldwin Wallace, I think, doing so a lot more comfortably, considering they are up by a scoreline of 3 goals to 0. 13th season head coach Reed Ayers, however, has decided to come back onto the field in the second half of this encounter with his starting team, not offering an early rest to any of those players. So it's interesting to see in what manner they attack this game, if they look for some more goals early on and then get them off, or if he plays them throughout the game. So I think tactics, the thing of most interest in the second half here for this BW team. Unless, of course, the Fighting Quakers are able to claw themselves back into this game by scoring a goal or 2. And then we may have a good game on our hands.
Yes, the momentum is definitely in the Yellow Jackets' favor. And you got to think by him putting out the starters that he just wants to continue the rhythm. Maybe that's important too, looking at the big picture if they move on from this game, to have this team out here now established in such a rhythm that they could come out and have another great performance like they've had already in this one.
Yes, Dre, and I tend to agree with that notion. Maybe 13th season head coach Reed Ayers just looking at this team as such a well-oiled machine that he wants to take this opportunity to get them some practice, also playing together, so that going into the later rounds of this tournament, they are extremely comfortable. Good ball by Cheryl Bell out to the right side for Rachel Bender, who looks to take on her defender, and is somewhat successful as she now plays the ball to Schutz. Ooh, and it was a good ball in for Schutz, who takes on the shot on a one-touch and volley, but it just goes a little bit high and a little bit wide. So now a goal kick to the Wilmington Fighting Quakers.
And Courtney Schutz definitely doesn't lack confidence tonight, being part of the 2 out of the 3 goals for the Yellow Jackets, as she tried to put up another one there. And maybe she can, and maybe she will, in the second half. So far, she's played excellent and has been provided with a lot of opportunities already and has capitalized on a few.
Yeah, and her first goal was actually a shot from a further distance with her weaker foot. So definitely not a ridiculous shot taken on there by Shoots. The foul call on Baldwin Wallace leads to an opportunity now for the Wilmington Fighting Quakers to maybe serve the ball into the box. An opportunity looking to be taken on by number 2, Morgan Combs, the junior from Tip City. A shot from long range there by Kristen Lee. Taken by the goalkeeper in the end, but definitely gave her a little bit of trouble.
And I like the shot she took there too because as you know, Courtney Schutz in the first half took a similar shot, and it sailed over the goalkeeper, standing at 5'4", that being Brittany Ross. So I'm thinking Kristen Lee right there, maybe trying to take advantage of that and try to channel her inner Courtney Schutz and get a goal of that nature as well. But clearly, Brittany Ross was ready for that one this time.
Another good opportunity there for Schutz on the cross from Rachel Bender, but Schutz's left-footed shot just blocked. And the quick counterattack by Wilmington leads to a wild shot from Ashley Lovett. Shot just going pretty wide, basically running in a straight line and kicking it. Some aggressive play there by Taylor Thompson, the freshman from Canal Winchester, just earning her talking to there from head referee Brian Miller. But he gets it under control, and Courtney shoots now to take a set piece.
Yeah, and as frustrated as the Fighting Quakers may get, they still keep their composure, know that there's still a lot of time left, and they can't let the little things get to them because then they would just essentially be beating themselves, and that's certainly something that they do not want to be doing right now.
And the foul is called there on the set piece play. Um, Forward Courtney, Alex Elliott seemingly fouling someone as the ball approached the 18-yard box. BW just dominating much of the play, looking to put together decent attacks, and a strike by Cheryl Bell towards the top corner is saved by goalkeeper Brittany Ross as she just tipped that one onto the crossbar and out of the goal. But Cheryl Bell shooting the ball as she usually does and almost getting the goal from that.
Yeah, from our angle, it didn't look like she was going to even get close to the goal, but wow, had Brittany Ross not gotten her hand on that, that was an easy goal. But at the same time, not so much because the shot was pretty bizarre. With her back to the goal, just trying to put something there. Would have been spectacular had that gone in.
Really?
Baldwin Wallace awarded the throw in there. A lot of back and forth possession in the last couple minutes here. 29 minutes to go in this one. Your Yellow Jackets lead the Wilmington Fighting Quakers 3-0. And what has been a very one-sided game. And Cheryl Bell with the goal, finally getting one to go past the goalkeeper. A laser shot, too.
I want to see the goal. A good shot there by Cheryl Bell. Similar to the two she's tried on the night, but she finally gets that one to go past Brittany Ross. And now the Yellow Jackets are definitely cruising at 4-0.
We mentioned before that Cheryl Bell is definitely not modest when it comes to taking shots. She is confident to take any shot. That was about 20 yards out and just a laser right past the goalie. She was looking for one all night. We credited her with one earlier by mistake because that one, the first one we're talking about, went to Kelly Go, but finally gets herself up there in what has, again, been a very lopsided game for Baldwin Wallace as they lead 4-0 over the Wilmington Fighting Quakers. Quakers on the attack, but another wasted opportunity as Emily Talmadge easily scoops that one up. And now a throw-in has been awarded to Wilmington after going off a Yellow Jacket. But this game has been it's been the total package for the Yellow Jackets, just playing with intensity, not letting up, as a Caddy Tucker and number 6 of the Quakers, Stephanie Max, getting tangled up there and falling to the ground. Very physical game, too. We haven't mentioned that a lot, but that's going to come with the territory and what this game means. But the Yellow Jackets certainly came out tonight the more ready team, and they look to continue this. No signs of letting up. There's nobody waiting to be substituted in. They're keeping this team out, and Reed Ayers is fully confident that this team is capable of perhaps going the distance and doing as much damage as possible to this Fighting Quakers team, who just hasn't had an answer tonight. As possession again goes back and forth. And finally, before going out of bounds, the Yellow Jackets are awarded a throw-in. And I got to speak about their patience, too. What they've done tonight, above all things, have passed the ball and set each other up for high percentage shots. There have been a couple, of course, that have gone in from distance, but the other two have just been solid play and just sticking to the fundamentals of the game. And that's exactly what this team needed to do tonight here at home on Tressel Field. With well over 25 minutes to go, too, they can add to this.
Yeah, definitely. This Baldwin Wallace team has been dominant, especially in terms of their attacking prowess for all of this game so far. 20 minutes haven't elapsed in the second half, so 65 minutes in total. And they're just playing some lovely soccer. They haven't really been troubled that much at the back, and they're dominating the midfield, and their attacking trio in Rachel Bender who's not even on her A game tonight, really, along with Courtney Schutz and Cheryl Bell, just playing very well. So
And that's
Baldwin is in the driver's seat in this encounter and look on their way to the semifinals.
and that's the beauty of it too. Rachel Bender, you say, isn't exactly on her A game. She doesn't need to be in this affair, as her teammates have taken it upon themselves to contribute, and she's been much of that for this team this year. So it's nice to see that others are stepping up, as the ball
And the
again sails over the head of Brittany Ross, and she's having trouble. I mean,
And I think that's an important facet of this team is that on a night like tonight where Rachel Bender isn't necessarily on her best game and not able to step up as she usually does, is that the team is still able to produce through other attacking players. And we've spoken a lot about how many weapons exactly they have in attack. Losing Audrey Wolf at a point in time where she was the leading points getter in the team and just seamlessly transitioning to an attack, not focused on getting the ball out to her to do some work, and doing so very well and being successful in doing so. And now they have a good chance with a game against Capital, the number one seed on Wednesday, an opportunity to go back to the OAC finals, something they achieved last year.
and you think, I mean, they very well can. And in the last matchup against Capital, it was a 1-0 affair in a very close game here at Tressel Field, and both teams showed really good signs. It's just the Capital Crusaders just came out of that one with the victory, as they've done quite a bit this whole season, going undefeated in OAC conference play. But nevertheless, that doesn't mean come playoff time that things don't change, and that a team such as our Yellow Jackets can go out, compete, and even get a win against a team as good as the Capital Crusaders. So that'll be very interesting to see in the next matchup what they can do already playing that team, and what they may have up their sleeve going into that one, already having the knowledge of one game in the books.
Barnwell's make a substitution here as said Rachel Bender gets a rest on the evening as she is replaced by Cassandra Wakeman, who moves into a deeper line midfield position, pushing Anna Poptic wide out right. Corner now to the Barnwell's Yellow Jackets to be taken once again by Courtney Schutz.
And Alex Elliott wanted to add to the show that's been going on from the Yellow Jackets tonight, trying to get herself a goal, but she got the second best thing, and that's a corner kick. Wilmington Fighting Quakers awarded a free kick after the foul called on Lauren Heyman of the Yellow Jackets.
Eventually leading to a goal by the number 5, Ashley Lovett, as Emily Talmadge somewhat misjudges the ball, trying to catch it full, but it falls just in front of her and ricochets off her knees and into Lovett's path and results in an easy finish.
And you have to think something had to have gone right for this Fighting Quakers team. Maybe just one thing, and that being the goal right there. But still have a lot of work to do in this one with 19 minutes to go and down 4-1 in this one. But that, I mean, it definitely helps. And we see a change at goalie, too, for the Wilmington Fighting Quakers as Sarah Sparks comes in for Brittany Ross. And Kelsey Nemeth of the Yellow Jackets coming in for number 23, Kristen Lee. And as you can see, the Yellow Jackets just now, taking their time. They don't have to force anything at this point. They just got to pretty much play conservatively and run the clock out to seal the victory on this one. But the Fighting Quakers are going to do everything necessary to make sure that does not happen. But the Yellow Jackets is playing very well tonight. They're the best that we've probably seen them here all season. And it started early and happened often as the goals kept pouring on and have been evenly distributed in this one, being awarded to Courtney Schutz, Kelly Goh, Cheryl Bell, and Marissa Fabrizi, respectively. Oh. As Kelsey Nemeth gets the foul called on her for what appeared to be a push on number 9 of the Fighting Quakers, Elena Lundergan. She doesn't agree, but it's the ref's call and is now awarding the Fighting Quakers a free kick, rather. And that one is easily gathered by Emily Talmadge, who's not going to let another one go past her, because that first free kick of this period for the Fighting Quakers did essentially get past her in a nature that she wasn't expecting. So very alert on that one there.
Yeah, and I think the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets just looking to close out this game at this point. That goal coming with them up 4-0, score now being 4-1 would have definitely worried them a little bit, but not too much. I think the biggest worry about that is that senior goalkeeper Emily Talmadge is unable to keep another clean sheet. But otherwise, Baldwin Wallace in the driving seat here.
Yes, everything has essentially gone right for them, other than that miscue by Emily Talmadge. But that's going to happen from time to time. but they're sitting comfortably, and that's all that really matters to this team right now is moving on.
Offside call here on Ashley Lovett, resulting in a free kick for Baldwin Wallace. And with about 14 minutes left on this in this encounter for the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets, um, this quarterfinal encounter of the OAC tournament, the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets lead the Fighting Quakers of Wilmington College by a scoreline of 4 goals to 1, and look to be on their way to the semifinal round of this tournament. So interesting to see how they will fare in what I presume now to be an encounter they will come up in on Wednesday against Capital University. Lauren Haynham judged to have fouled Taylor Scott around the 18-yard box.
And now Taylor Scott, number 11 of the Fighting Quakers, will get an opportunity to perhaps get them within a 2-goal deficit on this free kick opportunity.
And Taylor Scott takes the free kick and just kicks it slightly over. And she will be disappointed in that.
Yeah, I think just trying to chip that one over Emily Talmadge, but going a little too high. And now the free kick by Kelly Go will be taken. And I was going to say, this game is huge for the Yellow Jackets' mentality as well. I think coming out and winning so soundly today means going in with much more confidence against a team that has yet to lose in the OAC all season, or to an OAC conference team, rather. And the Capital Crusaders, they definitely are going to have their hands full against the Yellow Jackets team who's played them fairly well in the first one.
Yeah, and I think although Capital are undefeated in OAC play, I think the Yellow Jackets are one of the teams that they would have been hoping to not come up against. Definitely not until the finals of this OAC tournament. So it's interesting to see how that game goes on Wednesday, with the Yellow Jackets in a good coming in after this result will be in a good vein of form, and definitely will be thinking that they have the capabilities to beat any team that Capital is able to put on the pitch on the night.
As they should. They should feel really confident about this performance tonight. And the players who've stepped up in particular should feel good, because now it's not solely on one person. Not that it ever was, but according to stats, if you're into that, it appeared to be Rachel Bender was the biggest threat on this team, but that is certainly not the case this evening, as 4 different Yellow Jacket players scored, and that's got to, again, do a lot for those players as they move forward in postseason play. They're ready to accomplish big things.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets will definitely take pride knowing that they were able to get goals from four different players tonight, and it shows that their their attacking unit is primed and ready for this OAC tournament. So yeah, definitely it will be an interesting game coming up on Wednesday. It's about 10 minutes left in this encounter, and it's your Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets leading the Fighting Quakers of Wilmington College by a scoreline of 4-1.
And the fans not happy.
Yeah, number 23, Melanie Hall, seemingly just pushing Cassandra Wakeman to the ground after the play. And the fans definitely not happy as a strike from Kelsey Nemeth with the right booter sails just over the crossbar. And BW definitely not letting up on their attack. And seem to be closing out this game much like did it. And will look to take that momentum into the next game on Wednesday.
And Kelsey Nemeth has been very close on those opportunities a few times, and I just even going back to the last game here when they played the Capital Crusaders. She has a long range ball too that is definitely worrisome for the goalkeeper of the opposing team. And I would love to see her capitalize on that, if not in this game, at some point during their run in the OAC tournament, because she too has had a lot of opportunities that could have resulted in some pretty fantastic goals herself. So
Yeah, Kelsey Nemeth has not been afraid to take on that long range shot and has a strike with both her left and right feet, and will definitely be looking to take on more of those opportunities in the very near future. We now see the introduction of number 9, Jenny Burdick, replacing Anna Poptic, and I think now is just the period where Coach Readers will be looking to rest a few of his players who are heavy on minutes. BW just doing their best here to stay controlled at the back and through the middle of the field as they look to close out this what is surely to be a win. Now, and just a little bit more of what I was saying, Rita is getting some players some rest as we see uh, number 4, Gracie Baker, enter the field to replace Cheryl Bell, who has a goal on the night and will be looking forward to the next contest on Wednesday. More substitutions now for the Yellow Jackets as Trillett enters the field to replace Alex Elliott, and Caddy Tucker takes a unusual rest as Sarah O'Shaughnessy, the freshman from Cincinnati, comes on to replace her.
And now is where you're clearly seeing Reed Ayers resting those legs of his usual suspects, as we often allude to for those who perform well on a consistent basis for Yellow Jackets, resting them for what is sure to be the next round of the OAC tournament.
Kelsey Nemeth opting for a long-range shot there with her left foot, almost creeping in at the near post, but goalkeeper Brittany Ross does well to take care of it. And I think she just had teammates in better positions. And with the game basically sure at this point in time, I'm not sure they'll be too upset, but I think Kelsey Nemeth could have opted for a pass, and that would have been a better option.
Well, I told you before, she's hungry for a goal. She's been awfully close, so I'm not surprised that she's taken those.
The near perfect pass there by Rachel Johnson looking for Courtney Fernandez, but Lauren Haynham is able to recover quite well and puts the ball out for a corner kick to the Fighting Quakers. Calls by the fans for Baldwin Wallace to just keep possession of the ball with just about a minute and 20 seconds left here. Every time they get the ball, seemingly looking to go forward. But I think that is understandable, bearing in mind that Reeders has a lot of fresh legs here on the field, players who haven't scored many goals for the season, and they will be looking at this as an opportunity to get some points on the board in the postseason. So not too much to worry about, I think, here from the Yellow Jackets as they close this game out with about 50 minutes left. 50 seconds, I'm sorry. And a chance here on the corner for number 16, Erica Good, to serve a ball into the box for her Fighting Quakers team. But surely now it's just a formality with 18 seconds left that they know that they will not be coming out of this contest victorious. And that is the final whistle here at Tressel Field inside the George Finnie Stadium on the campus of the Baldwin Wallace University. And it is your Baldwin Wallace University women's soccer team 4 and the Fighting Quakers of Wilmington College 0. We'll be back with you in about 2 minutes to close out the broadcast here this evening.
We are back and just going to give you the final breakdown of the second half. First and foremost, so your final score is your Lady Yellow Jackets 4 and the Wilmington Fighting Quakers 1. In the second half, the shots again were pretty close, but BW held the advantage with 15 shots opposed to Wilmington's 12. And in the second period, the Wilmington Quakers had 2 corner kicks opposed to Baldwin Wallace's 1, but that did not matter as the Lady Yellow Jackets tacked on a couple more goals to seal the deal in that one, and that was all the difference. And then looking at saves, in the second one, they finally came when Wilmington did have 3 saves opposed to Baldwin Wallace's 2. But again, the goals kept pouring on for the Yellow Jackets, and that didn't matter as they go on to win.
Yeah, and this is a point in the season, Dre, where teams don't even get too tied up into the statistics, as What's important is getting the win and moving
Absolutely.
on to the next game. So Baldwin Wallace will travel to Brexley, Ohio to play the number 1 seeded Capital University in the Ohio Athletic Conference Tournament semifinals inside of the Bernlohr Stadium on Wednesday at a time to be announced. Thank you for joining us not only tonight but all season here at bwyellowjackets.com. I am Dario Batley. Thank you once again for tuning in. Thanks to my partner Dre Showers for being great all season.
Always a pleasure. It was a lot of fun and definitely a new experience for me, but it has been a great one nevertheless.
And our final once again is Baldwin Wallace 4 and the Wilmington 1. Have a good night.